and welcome to Pivot with Dr. Malika. I'm your host. I'm here with Ashley Mingo. Ashley is a costume designer in the industry, y'all, and I'm telling you, she's going to share with us some of the behind the scenes, some of the work and her journey to becoming a costume designer. You can find her work in, I'm going to talk about 3 movies here really quickly, but she can talk a little bit more about them. In 2023, you can find her work in We Were Meant To, and in 2024, African Giants and Bitterleaf. I'm so glad to have Ashley here. I know her. I know a little bit more than just being a costume designer, but I've known of Ashley and just we comes from good stock spiritually. And so I am just so glad to have her here on the show to share with you her pivot experience. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're here. You know, we have never had a costume designer. I had Elisa Reyes from the Proud family. She was the voice of La Cienega in the Proud family.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Closest to industry, but to have someone who works behind the scenes to make what we see pop and make what we see happen, it is so great to have you. And I know you, okay?
Yeah.
Shout out to IUP. So, Ashley, talk a little bit about your experience and just costume designing. How'd you get here? Talk a little bit about that.
Costume design kind of fell into my lap. I
Oh,
started an internship when I was in high school. My mom friend connected me to a costume designer that she knew.
okay.
And the film was called Safe with Jason Statham. And I had no real clue of what costume design was. I didn't even know it was a thing. I thought people wore their own clothes to movies. Like it was just a world that I knew nothing about.
Right.
Um, and on my first day, I just walk inside this building, like the office for production, and I just see room full of clothes, like just so many clothes, suits, dresses, anything that you could think of. And I'm like, wow, I had this like butterfly, like jittery feeling, like, oh my gosh, this is like I belong here. I belong doing this. I never knew
Right.
what it was, but this is something that I think I love. And that was just like on the first day. So I did the internship, but mind you, I'm in high school. So it's not like I'm about to go from film to film. Like that was just
Right.
an internship. Once it
Right.
was over, it was back to regular life. And I was, in high school. And once I graduated, I applied to IUP.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that IUP was the only state school that I knew of with fashion merchandising. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, fashion merchandising isn't costume design, but it's still in the fashion family.
Right.
And I felt like I could get there with that. So I went to IUP, did fashion merchandising. To my surprise, I really didn't have a lot of creative classes. I had a lot of math, I had a lot of science, I had a lot of labs, and finance class and marketing.
Okay.
So that kind of threw me for a loop. But I was able to go to the theater department and take one class for costume design. I think it was like one credit. I was
Okay.
able to that class, and then I was able to be an assistant costume designer for a play that IUP had in their theater department. So like
Okay.
that's how kept holding on to the dream. I would do once I graduated from IUP, I would do photo shoots from different time periods or inspired by different legends.
Yeah.
And then one day when I was at work, working for the school district, I'm like, I gotta get to LA. I gotta. I know it's a school out there named FITM, and I know if I get connected with them, they can connect me to my career. I could just network and meet people and stuff.
Right.
So I I just randomly did it. My parents didn't know that I was applying for school. My mom only found out because I was just ordering art supplies for my portfolio to
Right.
apply to the program, ordering all the art supplies and stuff. But in order to get into the costume design program, I had to do a prerequisite in fashion design. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Ended up doing the fashion design. Ended up getting accepted in the FITO, And doing the fashion design program, that was a lot of hard work. It
Right.
was like math for fashion. It was the craziest thing. But I'm like, I'm on this. I got this one track mind. If I just get through this, I can apply to the costume design program. Apply to the costume design program. Got in, and yeah, did all the courses and all the classes. But the biggest part of it was that the our costume design program connected us with different film schools. Film schools like AFI, Chapman, UCLA. I really connected with the people at AFI. They're still my friends and like coworkers till this day.
Right.
And then, so I connected with them, and we had to do a short film before we graduated. But I couldn't do it because our once we graduated, it was the pandemic when we graduated.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so by the time it was time for me to start my films, the pandemic happened. I was already back in Philly.
Okay.
So that happened, and the people at my friends at AFI, they couldn't graduate until they finished their film. So I
Right.
already graduated, but I'm like, they got to finish their film. I need some work in my portfolio. I don't have anything because like I graduated without it.
Right.
So I would fly back and forth to design their films once it all picked up. Um, I want to say between October 2020 to I want to say maybe 2021, the end of 2021. That's when I
Okay.
did everyone's film, just flying back and forth, flying back and forth.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
So this was not, I've been talking lately about our path to success or meeting our goals. It's not always a straight shot. It's 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 some twists and turns.
yeah,
You got to have a growth mindset. Hint, hint, audience. We talked about this. But you have to, even when you have limitations, you have to do what it takes to create to find the strategies and create it with the right people and the right resources to help you get through so that you can get to the goal.
yes.
It sounds like that's something you really had to do.
Still to this day, still to this day.
So when you think about, I think, earlier I read the name of three films. So we know you went to costume design school, and that connected you with um, film schools,
Mm,
correct? And so is that how you connected up with the movies, African Giants, We Were Meant to, or Bitterleaf? How
yes.
did you get your name there? Okay.
So those three films are from directors that I've met at AFI.
Wow.
Um, so for We Were Meant to, that's my director and friend Tyree Waribi.
Okay.
Um, that
Shout
was
out.
the second.
I said shout out to Tyree.
Yes. So that was the second film that I did
Okay.
coming out of FITM. And that film was crazy. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work. We were dealing with prosthetics and wings and stuff for the characters. So I had to figure out how to design around that. I had to, keep track of the wings. It was hard for the characters to the actors to get dressed. So I
Right.
have to, and it was only me. So I would have to put all their wings on, go to everyone's dressing room, put all their wings on, then come back around to get them dressed fully with the other costumes because they couldn't dress themselves because they would mess up the wings. So I would
Right.
wrap the wings in plastic, then slide the sleeve up, and then do the other side. So I really had to dress them like all the way.
Like literally.
Yes. But that was a great experience. I got to work with some amazing actors on that one. Um,
Nice.
and we went to Sundance and a lot of other film festivals. So that was
Very
a
nice.
great experience.
Very
Um,
nice.
and African Giants and Bitterleaf are written and directed by Omar S. Kamara. That's
Okay.
one of my other good friends and director from AFI. I
Okay.
did my first short film with him called Mass Ave, and that did really, really well. It went to HBO Max. It's still on there streaming now. Um,
Nice.
that yeah, that was exciting as well. So I met them and like we just built this relationship and like I feel they're like my brothers, honestly. So they always told me like whatever I have, you have. Whatever film I write, you're going to be the costume designer. And
Love
we're
it.
like this. And a lot of other producers and directors from their class, they're all really cool. So it's like just one big group of friends, which I'm very thankful for because I never imagined like I always thought about doing the work, but I never imagined that God would have provided me this village of friends who I like love and trust. So that's like the cherry on top. Um,
I love that. I love that. Now let's talk about that because I'm imagining that because you have created a connection with these directors, producers,
mhm.
correct me, is it directors and producers or?
It's directors, producers, writers. Honestly, we have a friend group of all different types of filmmakers, like director of
Okay.
photography, set dressers, production designers. Like, yeah.
So they call and say, "Hey, we want you. You know, you're always in with us. Whatever we have, you have." So now, how do you, as you get down and hone in on the details of the film, how do you know the attire? What's is that something the director shares with you? Here is my vision. Now you go, or do you all collaborate and talk through the look? How do you do that?
So it's definitely a like collaborative experience, but
Okay.
I get the script first. So
Okay.
well they'll pitch it to me, even though I'm gonna take it. They'll pitch it to me and then I get the script, I read through the script, I like do a whole break down the characters, break down their personalities, break down, what they're doing, the demographic.
Mm,
And sometimes the writer will put in notes like she had on a blue shirt or something, or like he
okay.
had on a chain that was dangling, like just different things. So I'll highlight that and make sure, okay, that will be in it. Or if it's something I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound right, I'll talk to
Mm,
them about it and we'll swap it out with different things. So that's one piece, and they'll give me a lookbook for the entire film with the color palette. And once
mhm.
I read and do like the script breakdown, I'll make my own lookbook, and we'll go through that. They'll say what they like, what they don't like, and then we'll just go from there. And I also connect with the production designer to make sure all the color palettes match, nothing is clashing, and that we can create a real world that looks authentic.
I love this. I love this. I love it because I'm visual. I love it also because commedia was my thing. So the visuals, sometimes people sit and watch a movie. I'm sitting and I'm watching, but I'm also critiquing, some behind the scenes. So I'm loving what you're sharing with us today. And I think for the audience, you're sharing something new, something we don't usually hear unless we're watching an interview on TV. And rarely do we get to talk to the costume designer who really brings life to the characters and brings life to the movie, right? We don't give costume, I don't think we give costume designers their flowers. Okay. Um, so out of the movies that you've done, can you say which one was, I don't want to say your favorite, but maybe you just really enjoyed the end product or the work that it took, or is there one that stands out for you?
Yes, so it would be African Giants because that's
Okay.
the like full and feature film that I designed.
Okay.
And really like it came from the muscle and from the heart.
Mm,
um like all of my films, like I'm tied to them from the heart, but this one, it was just something different. We did it on a very very low budget, but we
okay.
really like just created this beautiful world, and like the story is written so well. It's like it's a tearjerker, but then you're dying laughing. It's just like it's so relatable.
Yes.
And I just love the fact that I'm, celebrating Black men in the process because it's about two first generational brothers.
Mhm.
So it's just a beautiful story. Beautiful
I
story.
love it. I got to watch the trailer and I
Hmm.
thought, okay, I want to see this. So is it available?
So it's finishing this theater run out here in selected theaters. Uh,
Okay.
During the fall, it will be on streaming services. I'm not sure which one yet, but that's the plan. Um,
Please let me know. Can you?
yes,
Because we'll have to have you back at some point anyway. Um,
yes. Hi, I'm costume designer Ashley Mingo, and you're watching Pivot with Dr. Malika.
so we got to have you back. But I love that. That was the one movie. The two young men were from Sierra Leone,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yep.
so kind of making it. Yes, check out the trailer, y'all. Check out the trailer. It's called
Story.
African Giants,
Yes.
and the trailer is on YouTube, I believe.
Yep, it's on YouTube, and I feel like it's on the IMDb page, but
Okay.
it's around, and
Yes.
it's
Yes.
on Instagram.
Okay. Good. 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 So, when you think about costume designers in the industry, and I just said that we really don't give costume designers their flowers, but they really have such a critical part in film, right? I don't care what kind of film it is, the costume designers are huge. They're a huge part. And so, I was doing a little bit of reading and realized that there's a very small percentage of Black costume designers in the film industry. They said less than 10%. And if that is information is dated, I would imagine it is not a large number. So it's probably a very small number. Talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced, if any, as a costume designer. What are some things that you think, some roadblocks that you've had to really push through to get to where you want to be?
Um, I feel like I always had to be on like my P's and Q's, especially in my class at school. It
Okay.
was a lovely experience and stuff, but I was the only black black girl there.
Yeah.
So it was a process of, making sure when like we would get a bunch of films to review every week for this one class, and it would be like always white films. So
Okay.
I would have to speak up and say, could we get a couple of films that tells African American stories, because
Right.
we really impacted this film industry.
Right.
So it's just like it was little things like that. Always when I do my projects, making sure when I'm designing these characters while we were in school that maybe for this film I'm going to do an all black cast. You know,
Mhm.
so it was just different things like that that I had to intertwine in my program.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm trying to think. I haven't really faced any challenges like that in the industry so far.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, I just haven't. I haven't. And I outside of working out with films like the independent films and short films that I do with filmmakers out here in
Mhm.
Philly, I worked on a lot of productions as well, and they were always like a mixed department, or sometimes I was the only black person, but it was always inviting. I never really had problems. Made great friends um, on those departments as well. So I really haven't run into any racial problems or things to where I feel like I'm not going to make it because
Right.
I'm an African American woman,
Right.
which is a blessing. So
That's
yeah.
good. So what keeps you going? Like what motivates you? What pushes you? Do you have your
Ooh,
quote or your something that you listen to or your what kind of keeps you, because it can't always be easy
it's
um in any career, right? And so a lot of times we fall back on something, or we really lean on something that kind of pushes us forward. So what is that for you?
who you about to make me emotional?
That's all right.
I really, cause this industry is hard, and like I post like my highlights and stuff like that, but it's a hard industry to work through. Cause a lot of high moments and it's a lot of low moments, and it's a lot of things that are just like out of my control. But I really have to hold on to one God and my faith,
Yeah.
and hold on to the dream that I have,
Mhm.
cause I realize my dream impacts other people, and
Mm.
I you about to make me cry.
Mm.
My parents and my family, they always encouraged me and like to follow my dreams. But it wasn't until like the last couple of years, people will come up to me and just talk about like how proud they are of me, and just like how my dreams inspired them to chase their dreams. And
Yes.
just giving them hope in life. And I'm like, wow, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, but I have to maintain this. I have to keep it going.
Yes.
I have to. It's like you just never know what your dream is doing for other people. You never know. So it's those three things that just keeps me like motivated, like good, bad, or indifferent. I have to do this thing. I have,
Mm. Just having a conversation with someone about that whole, there's a scripture that says to let your light so shine, before men, and they'll see your good works and then glorify God in heaven. But it's
mm-hmm,
like we all have something inside of us that's that light that draws people to us, that draws work our way, that
exactly.
draws opportunity. And so even though you're not saying that, it kind of it'll draw people to the Lord, but what it does is it does cause you to have a responsibility that people
Mm-hmm,
are watching.
mm-hmm,
People
yeah,
people are looking to see how you handle adversity, how you accomplish the goal.
right.
What it is you're doing, stepping out on faith, and that's why sharing your story is so it's a remarkable story, and I think it should be told because I think that there are women out there, there are Black women out there are little girls out there who need to know that you can be a costume designer in
Yeah,
the film industry in 2024, 25, 26, and on, and you are a trailblazer. I mean, you're blazing this trail
thank you,
for folks to come behind you,
thank you.
you know.
Hi, I'm costume designer Ashley Mingo, and you're watching Pivot with Dr. Malika.
So yeah, kudos to you, girl. Celebrate you. Because it's not easy work.
It's not it it's really not. And this year has really shown me that. Like I always knew like the labor was hard, but just being in like a world of uncertainty and
Mhm.
yeah, it's been some hard years. Like these last few years have been hard, just with COVID, then the strike. The writers had a strike.
Oh, that's right. And that
Like
impacted you.
yes, because I wasn't working. I spent almost a year tailoring in Doylestown, Pennsylvania.
Really.
Yeah, I spent the entire year tailoring, and I had just got into my union as a costume designer.
Hmm.
So and I feel like this is a theme in my life, or this is just God's way to just let me understand how life works sometimes. Because when
Mm,
I graduated from film with my costume design degree, it was COVID. So it's like as soon as I get to these high points, I gotta go through something, and then
right.
I get into the union, it's a strike. But it just shows me how, like, even through that, God is still faithful. He still provided different ways for me to do things, different ways for me to, make money and still like hold on to my dreams. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And the higher you get, you'll always remember
Yeah.
these experiences. And I truly believe that, God creates our spiritual resume, right? We have our career resume, but here's a spiritual resume. And it's like, okay, in 2020, I dealt with this and God brought me through. And in 2020, you know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
this opportunity came, but it was nothing but God. And so I think that, there's this spiritual resume that He helps us to build, to remind us that, where we come from, who we are in Him. Um, were there times when you felt like you felt helpless, but then like doors opened, or you felt like I need something, right? And you got that phone call. Talk a little bit about these opportunities that have really changed the game for you.
Well, just recently, like that's been my life. I had moved back out here in March
Okay.
to do a project and stuff. I'm like, let me just move out here because I keep coming back and forth. Let me just see how it is on this side again as an adult. Moved out here. The project went really well. It was Bitterleaf. Went really well and stuff. But after that, it was like crickets. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
let me get used to being out here. So it's still crickets. And then I get a call from somebody to come back to Philly to be on their costume department. So I'm happy. I'm like, okay, cool. It gets pushed back a little bit. So I'm
Right.
like, all right. So I had to leave later than I thought I would. So, but after that, I thought everything was, set up. Once you give
Right.
me a date and whatever, I'm going to come out there.
Hmm.
So I come out there around the time that the film was supposed to be happening. I get out there, I contact the costume designer, and she tells me that it's been delayed indefinitely.
Oh my goodness.
I'm laughing now, but I was crying.
I'm sure you, I'm sure you were. I'm
I,
sure, isn't it good? You can laugh now. You can,
I was so sick. I was sick. So I'm like, Lord, I don't know what's going on. So I spent some time in Philly. Then I came back applying for jobs. And right now I'm applying for side jobs because I'm like, okay, I kind of know when it's time to, try something else because,
right.
I need money. So I'm
Right.
applying to different jobs. And, I started getting denied. So, like, I got denied from roles. Like, I'm talking about these types of jobs. I'm like, no, this is
You
wrong.
said, wait a minute, hold up. I am more than qualified. I'm
Like,
overqualified.
I'm like, this is beyond me. Now I'm getting offended. Like, come on now. I'm applying to like just jobs just to, you know, uh,
Right. Right. Right.
live.
Right. Right. Right.
And
Right.
I'm having these conversations with like my friends, and like it's just a drought season out here in LA. That's just what's going on. So I'm having conversations with writers, directors, producers, and we all like, life getting real. We're not as young as we used to be. We gotta start making other plans. Like maybe filming can be our side job, and we get corporate jobs. Like just having these conversations. I'm like, wow, we're all feeling this way. So I started applying to corporate jobs. Applying to corporate jobs, ended up getting an interview with one of them, and I do the first interview. I'm like, okay, like it's good. So I got a second interview coming up, and between that time and between the first and the second interview, I get a text message from a costume designer, saying basically, I'm moving. I'm moving in to shoot this project, this television series, and I want to know what you're doing, and if you would like to be on my crew.
Whoa.
So mind you, this is very recent, like from the from August, late July, August. So this is all I'm living in it right now.
Right. Wow.
So I'm like, I'm excited, and I'm like, I tell her, I'm between interviews, with this job, and like I'm gonna get back to you. She was like, okay, the door is always open. You don't have to come right now, but the door is always open if you would like to come down.
Right.
Like, okay. So I just run it by my mom real quick. Nothing crazy. Not like my usual, like, oh my God, I got this opportunity. I just run it by my mom. And then I'm like, I can't go to sleep that night.
Mm.
I'm tossing and turning. I'm like, no. Like, and this is a costume that I love. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm tossing and I'm turning and stuff. I'm like, no, I gotta go. Because that's my girl. I enjoy working with her. And
Right.
this is like another opportunity of a lifetime. And it will help me grow in my career.
Right.
Um, so I just ended up telling her, girl, I'm down.
Great.
Like I am down. So I'm in the process of actually moving now. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so can you give us a tea or you can't? It's too early.
Well, actually, I'm moving to Atlanta.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
moving to Atlanta. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm very excited about that. Yeah,
Very
it's
nice. So we're
great.
gonna have to have you back. So is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the east side for a little bit. For
We'll have to have you back on the show.
oh yes. You'll have me on.
Yes.
So yeah, so um,
Congratulations. That's beautiful. I
thank
mean, we don't know yet, but we will. You know what? We will see. We will. We
yes.
will see.
Yes, I'm just so happy and just so blessed because this season, this year, I'm like, Lord, what is going on? And it really just made me draw closer to him. Like
Mm,
I had so much time on my hands. So I'm like, I'm in the gym, getting fit, just taking care of like, my body and my mental and stuff. But I'm like, Lord, this is hard. It's like no matter what, you can go to the gym, you can do all the things, but when you're
Yes.
not connected to him, it's still like kind of like all hell is breaking loose.
Yes.
So I had to, start really, really reading my word, going to church. I found a great church out here called Believe LA. Going
Mm,
to church every Sunday, being surrounded by like my friends and stuff, and just really growing in him. And I felt like I was coming out of that season when I started seeing other people getting blessed. It's so crazy. Like you always hear like when God's blessing other people that meet season in your neighborhood.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
like I've never been in a situation to where I could see that fully. But it was just so many like big blessings happening to people, like life changing things. And I'm just getting happy because I'm like, first of all, I'm just happy because they're happening. But I'm
Right, right.
like, if this is happening for them, I feel like I'm coming out of it, or that's just motivation for me to just, keep pressing because I know something's going to be on the other side.
Right.
So yeah, this year it turned me every way but loose.
Oh, I'm listen. This is again building that spiritual resume, building that testimony, and this
Mm-hmm.
is the story, right? This is the testimony, and you held on, and so I can't wait to see the work and see your, just your work on this show, this new opportunity. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, say there's someone out there who's looking to even get, there's fashion folks in fashion. I know a few folks in at IUP who were in the
Mm-hmm.
fashion department, and what would be three things that you would tell them? What would be three things that you would tell them who are really looking to break into this industry, film industry, or even in fashion in some other areas, and they're
Mm-hmm.
struggling right now or feeling discouraged? What three things would you tell them?
Hmm. I would tell them to first always be authentically themselves,
Hmm.
because with this industry, you think you have to be something else or be like superficial, all those things. But people really look at the character.
Mm,
You can be talented, but if you have a like nasty bad attitude, people don't want to work with you. And word travels around fast in this industry. It seems big, but it's very small. So like really be yourself, be kind hearted, and you have to be loyal and like I don't know, you really just have to be a good, well-rounded person to really succeed. That's what
hmm.
I think in any industry. But in this one, you really do have to be like a good person and a team player.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to break into this industry, just make sure you know who you are
Hmm.
and know what you can do for other people and know what they can do for you. Um,
Yes.
so that's one big thing. Treat everyone nice and kind. Um, Another thing is to know the path that you have to take, because like I had a lot of like pivots and ups and downs, but literally I had this all mapped out in my head. I
Hmm.
knew like my end goal. Well, one of my end goals is to win an Oscar for best costume designer.
Okay.
So what I did was, okay, Oscars at the top. So how can I go backwards? So in order to get an Oscar, I had to work on the film. In order to work on a film, I have to connect with writers and directors, producers, all those things. I have to build a resume. And from building a resume, well, how am I going to get on these sets if I don't have any experience? So I realized I had to go to school.
Right.
I got to go to school to learn. And in order to go to school, I had to move. So it was just
Wow.
all those things, but I did it all backwards to build it all up. So
Yes.
I would definitely say like know the path that you want to take and know what's for you. Because it's a lot of costume designers that did not take my path. Some people just came out here on a whim or
Hmm.
went wherever on a whim and was just like I'm gonna thug it out. I'm not going to go to school. I can just get this experience just by being hands on, and that worked for a lot of people. But
Hmm.
for me, I know that's not my portion. I just can't go no. I
Right.
need structure,
Right.
routine.
Right.
I just can't do that. So it's just like know who you are and
Right.
know what works for your path. And you'll get surprises, you'll get delays, you'll get denies. But as long as you have that clear vision I feel like
Mm,
you'll be able to make it through.
that's
Um,
good. That's good. You're preaching. That's good. Go ahead. What's your number three? Come on.
um, I just learned that life is so much more than my career. And
Mm,
if I'm like, and I know I said I have like tunnel vision and all that, but I feel like if you hold on to something too tightly, you'll lose it.
mm,
So if you're not, checking in with your family, building other people up,
mm.
well, I guess this is advice just for life. I don't think it's for
Yeah.
anyone going through. This is just for life because when you're going through, is totally different feeling. But
Right. Right.
so sorry, I just went to my own question and answer. But
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's okay.
but I would say like your career is not everything, and I've learned that by being down on like the down part, the downsides. It's like
Mm,
you have family, you have church, you have just different things outside of you. You have people that need you. So
right.
I just learned that it's not to hold on it too tightly because whether you get in your career or not, it's like God is still good. He still has a purpose for you. And I had to tell that to myself during this year. I literally like kind of broke down like, God, if I don't ever design another film, work on another costume department, I'm okay as long as I'm right with you. As long as
Yeah.
I'm mentally, because we can do all these things and our mental not be there. We could be
Right.
about to lose our mind, but still show up on set working
Right.
12+ hour shifts. Like no, so it's like you gotta know that you'll be okay without your career. But
Right.
that's another. I don't know where that advice came. That's another advice.
That's good. That's needed. That's needed.
It
There's more there. Life is so much more than your career.
is
There's so much
so.
more. And you,
So
but when did you learn that? In the valleys.
yes, in the valley, it's like, ooh, I learned so. I yeah,
In the valley. In the
so
valley.
many valley experiences. I'm like, I told my sister, I said, if God showed me what I would have to go through to get to this career, I would have said, no, I'm good. Like, no, I'm good, girl. You want me to go across country? You want me to be like alone? Like, cause it's loneliness that comes with this too. It's a lot of different things. Like, I'm a family person. I'm a friendly. Like, I love to be around people, but it's so many seasons for like months. It's just me alone. You know,
Wow.
like if I knew that what my life would be in certain seasons, I'd be like, hold up now. I'm missing like birthdays or different things. So yeah, and I'm grateful for some seasons where he allows me to navigate. I'm working and I'm being around my family. And I'm not
Yes.
missing these life changing events and stuff. So, he'll have you in different seasons. It's crazy. Crazy.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So, as you are moving into, and we did this a little bit earlier, but as you are moving into this new season of your life, new show that's coming up, we want to make sure that folks can find Ashley, find you. So you're on Instagram at Ming Season
Yes.
underscore, and then the costume design John.
Yeah.
Everybody go on the internet and find out what John is. It's a good thing, okay? It's all sorts of things. Um, and so it's that new pronoun, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we definitely want to follow you and support you, and we look forward to everything that you have coming up. I speak blessings over your life and over your future endeavors, and just really, we can't wait to see what else you are going to do and who you are going to dress in your future.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We will see you in Atlanta through your Instagram page. We will see what you're doing. And we'll be checking that IMDb because we know that you're going to continue to increase in the number of projects that you will work with. We know that for sure. So thank you so much for being on Pivot today.
Thank you for having me.
That was awesome. Pivot family, I want you to go and follow Ashley at Ming Season underscore and the costume design. Well, we thank y'all for joining us. Go support her. And y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.